someone that generally would take the long way around because you learn something in the process, or are you someone that likes to get things done and get things done quickly?
Oh, you and these questions and the way you phrase them. I actually believe I think it was I think it was Bill Gates that said, what was it?
Hello. Big love, Tev and Ty, episode 45. Today, I'm going to get straight into it. We are known as the microwave generation. We're quite a demanding set of people. We know what we want, we know when we want it, and we want it now. So it led me to think about life hacks. We're a generation that are so used to, I'm not going to say cutting corners, but finding faster solutions to problems. And it made me firstly think about where the origins are. So I had heard a story that it actually came about as part of workers in a factory. I believe they were working and they were kind of under a lot of pressure from this very type A personality manager who had a stopwatch in hand, and he was very stringent on the hours that each member of staff in the factory had to perform. And as a result of this, we found that people somehow found a way to, what would I say, accomplish this task a lot faster in order to give them the benefit of having more leisure time with their friends, with their family, etc. So that was a very quick summary of how he came about with it. It was in the mid-2000s, if I'm not mistaken, and became popular culture, again, particularly in the internet age that we find ourselves in today. Life hacks, Ty? Would you say you use a
Yeah.
few? Are you someone that generally would take the long way around because you learn something in the process, or are you someone that likes to get things done and get things done quickly?
Oh, you and these questions and the way you phrase them. I actually believe I think it was I think it was Bill Gates that said, what was it? Look, don't employ the smartest person. Something about lazy people finding shortcuts and something along those lines. I'm sure I've butchered that phrase, but no. So I think in some ways, like shortcuts are good, shortcuts are fun, shortcuts are nice. There's a guy on TikTok. Sorry, by the way, I just want to say to everyone, if anyone has a life hack on hay fever, I'd really appreciate it because I'm suffering and it's the one thing I can't seem to fix. But anyway, so there's a guy on TikTok. He does this thing where he records himself in the mirror, and he does a thing and he says, "Come here," and then he zooms in on himself, and he comes with lots of life hacks. Like he has one where he opens chopsticks and he just taps them on the table and he opens them. He does one where he opens a pasta pack by hitting it at the bottom and it pops out. So. And I love stuff like that. I'm not going to lie to you. I love stuff like that. So, yeah, in general, I am a person that likes them. So I'm going to give you my top 4 life hacks that I've learned and that I use quite regularly. So the first one is, let me say, over our travels, living in Thailand, being in Italy, etc., a life hack that I've come to learn is to look at restaurant menus, and not in terms of the content of the menu, but the size of the menu. So if you go to a place that, like in Thailand, there's lots of places that will sell Thai food, Indian food, and Western food. It's like a 15-page menu, and you think to yourself, wow, there's everything here for everyone. We can all eat. I've learned, my life hack is that there's no way that chef can cook 50, 60 items well. So if you look at restaurant menus, look for small, concise restaurant menus. The fewer things, the better. I know not in terms of option, but you know that they've mastered those things. The second one, also related to food, I learned it from Katya's nonna when we were in the north of Italy. When you're making a tomato-based sauce, like a bolognese or Napoletana sauce or whatever, if it's, okay, not bolognese, I'm wrong. You should never put it into bolognese. It should always be a Napoletano or arrabbiata, okay? So if it's a bit acidic, to break the acidity, you pour milk into it, like half a cup of milk breaks the acidity. So that's the second one. The third one, when you're driving in your car, if you forget, or if it's a new car, you don't know which side the petrol tank is, the sickest life hack that I saw is that you look at your fuel gauge, you'll always see a little picture of a petrol tank and it's got an arrow on it. That arrow tells you which side your petrol tank is. Go check, everyone who's listening. And the last one, maybe not a life hack, but nice advice is, if you hate everyone, eat a snack. If you think everyone hates you, take a nap. And those are my 4 life hacks that I'll be sharing. What about you, Tev? Are you a shortcut kind of guy? And how can you make our lives easier?
Proper, man. Yeah, you actually, the petrol thing, I think, is one of the genius life hacks that I've also come across. You actually remind me of the time when I made myself such a fool. My brother, we was pulling into a petrol station, myself, my mom, my brother, and my cousin putting into the petrol station. He's like, just check which side our pump's on. And me not knowing what he meant was to tell him which side of the vehicle the pump is on. I got out the car, I went to look around each of the pumps, and I was like, I think this is our usual one. Yeah, number 7. Yeah, after that, I think I was convinced that any automotive advice will not be coming from me. In terms of life hacks, cracking boiled eggs. I think we've all had instances where we tried to crack a boiled egg and it takes forever to peel. It's like, is it even worth it anymore for the amount of effort that I'm having to put into get this egg? A life hack there is to not put your boiled eggs down to cool completely after you've boiled them. Put them in a plastic bag in the fridge, and while it's still warm, the moisture from the bag makes them easier to peel. Related to the egg, actually, that dude on Instagram that you speak about, I think is Jordan something. He says that the perfect break for an egg is to drop it from a height onto a flat surface, and it'll break it perfectly, no shells at all. Great life hack there. Emails. Everyone that's in the, not even just in the corporate world, but if you're sending emails professionally, personally, always remember to write the email first and then come back to the recipients. I think that also aligns with having an attachment added before you send the mail. And then the third thing I would say is in proofreading. Our very own writing guru, Ty, taught me this one, to read it backwards so that you're not filling in the gaps for sentences. I think we've all experienced instances where you're given a blurb or some kind of caption that has been written out, and your brain is somehow able to fill in the words that are missing or have been written backwards, or something's misaligned, but you unconsciously are able to interpret what the correct phrasing should be for the sentence. So proofreading backwards is one way in which you can stop your brain.
Yeah,
Those are my top.
That works really well. I know that you would read every word backwards, read the sentence backwards. That's a big help. But Gmail has come up with ways of helping us as well. I've noticed if you say, please find attached, and you don't click attach, Gmail will say you haven't attached anything. So that's also, that's a nice way of helping. But I have a question now. So actually relating to that thing about Gmail. So even last week we spoke about it. So when it comes to proofreading and stuff, we now know, we've spoken about it before. We have ChatGPT, we have Summarize This, we have Quill extensions that we use. You and I actually use some AI life hacks, well, not life hacks, but hacks for the podcast. So for example, we use Adobe Podcast, where we plug our sound into, which makes us sound a little bit clearer, a little bit more professional. So we have come so used to these shortcuts and everything in life, right? So the question that I wanted to ask you is are these shortcuts or these life hacks, are they actually a good thing now? So are we losing our ability to proofread? Are we losing our way of being able to do things because we're now becoming so reliant on, I don't want to say life hacks necessarily, because there's no shortcut to dropping an egg from Jordan. Our Jordan guy has taught us, but the life hacks that have these shortcuts, are they taking away from the value of things? Article writing, for example, like, is there even a blog that you can read that hasn't been hacked in some way? What do you think? Fast life, fast fashion. Do these hacks actually help us in the grander scheme of things?
I'd, I'd actually be bold and say yes. Yes, they do. Ultimately, the reason why life hacks was started was to have more leisure time. I think we found in this day and age that we have very few um, opportunities to spend with our loved ones in the day to day. And I think it's something that was seen during COVID. So once work from home became a thing, we saw more and more, especially in the corporate world, I would say, families getting to spend time together, parents getting to see their child grow up, and manage to share some very special moments that I think otherwise wouldn't have happened had there not been the work from home allowance. So ultimately, if that's what our goal is, then I would be for a lot of these helpful tools, tricks, innovations that help get us through to this desired destination. So if it means I'm able to write a essay and I'm having Grammarly help me with my word count, with my spelling, grammar, all of these things, why not make use of it? Cooking, I don't want to spend hours and hours inside the kitchen. Sorry, Nato, please forgive me for this. But I want to get to the point of eating and supper with my loved ones, enjoying that shared communal time. So I'm going to say, yes, it's totally worth it. Are you of the same
Okay.
opinion?
Largely, yes. For largely, I agree with what you're saying. I do think we are kind of losing, in some cases, we are losing like our ability to critical think and stuff. I know that isn't really a life hack necessarily, but like ChatGPT and stuff is, a lot of teachers are battling with it. Because we're losing a lot of abilities, but we're human, so we'll adapt and overcome. I actually think, yes, they are. It is good. It is good. Like, it all started. I'm sure you've seen 5 Minute Craft on Instagram and on YouTube and on Facebook, who have now become ridiculous, by the way. Like, it's no longer 5 Minute Craft. Now it's become like, just put a little bit of bicarbonate of soda, which is fine, but then like this sulfuric acid, applied that with this specific eyedropper. And I'm like, you're talking about things I don't have at my house. Like, this is not a 5 Minute Craft anymore. It's not a life hack anymore. You're actually making me do stuff. There's that other guy as well. I'm sure you've seen him. He's like, he does this when he's done. That's Kabi. He does this. He does like, and he's fast and he's got long hair and he's like, oh, you put a little bit of lemon, you do this, spray, and he's like, he always ends his videos like this.
Oh,
He has a lot of, yeah, that guy. I love that guy. So he also has a lot of life hacks that I think are helping. But as we've seen now, more and more, these hacks are becoming more prevalent in different areas. Now we see it in the rise of in technology, especially now with AI. We've seen over the past year how much has come in. ChatGPT was groundbreaking, etc. So there's different sectors like the writing sector, etc. So I wanted to ask you, where do you think our next shortcut lies?
well, good question. I know we've got fast food, we've got fast fashion, as you mentioned previously. Even faster transport is what I imagine us moving towards. So I think in a previous episode, I've alluded to wanting to have traveled on a Concorde to cut down the flight time significantly. And I'm wondering now, I actually saw a video of a future underground railway system, which supposedly would drop people off in their house. So you almost have a pod, and on train passes by and the house opens up and walks into the train and goes off. Likewise, in
That
walk off work, off school, you have this as an area, um, as a new mode of transport. We've seen AI, so to speak, have self-driving cars. So I think
Yep.
transport is going to be the big sector, as well as monetary. I think we're already moving to a lot of digital currencies, contactless technology, and there's going to be a point where there was talk about having a chip implanted in people, so your contact with people is going to diminish in stores. It's going to be almost as simple as a swipe or a
Yeah,
gesture over some
yeah,
kind of device reader that then allows you to make multiple purchases at the same time. So I think in the
yes.
world of transport and in the world of money, that's generally the sectors I see. What about you?
I think the next step in terms of shortcuts is going to be entertainment. So I think in the house already, I think you see a lot of Alexa and Google. I actually saw a really funny thing. Our generation, to our teachers, we sometimes called our teachers mom or dad, you know, when it slipped out and everyone laughed at you and whatever. And someone said, like on this teacher forum that I saw, that someone, instead of said mom or dad, they called their teacher Alexa, which I thought was real funny. So I think in terms of the housing situation, we're already seeing like a lot more life hacks, you know, things that make our lives within our homes easier. But I think the next sector that we're going to really see it shortcuts and easier access is going to become entertainment. I think it's becoming more globalized, and I think that's where a lot of finance is coming for a lot of companies. So there's going to be better apps. I think things like VR headsets and those kinds of experiences are going to become more affordable to get more people to buy into it. I think because a lot of people are now working from home, entertainment has become a larger thing. I think there's more people that are subscribing to Netflix, etc., because they're spending more time at home, right? So I think that will be the next phase of kind of life hacks. But I personally believe that
Okay. And
it's really, really actually, it's quite cool. It's sometimes quite scary. I don't know if you've seen like they have these things that predict what we're going to look like based on the lives that we're living. And so like, I don't know if you've seen, but it's like these gamers, they have like an artist made a depiction of these gamers about how they're going to
like,
look. And like their hands are all crunched up and they're like folded over and stuff. But what killed me is that they wear specific headphones, right? And they in the picture, it's got them like they've got like a bump in their head. And one of these famous gamers like shaved his hair and donated it for charity. And he legit had this bump in his head, like a groove. You must check it out. And then a whole bunch of other gamers started shaving their heads and realized that they've got the same bump. So that for me is like the most scary. Even in like Wall-E, you know, like all the people are living like this comfortable, casual life. They don't have to walk anywhere and whatever. So they're just getting fat. So that's the fear, I guess.
good, good answer. I think that's a perfect place to wrap it up. Let us know your life hacks on all our social channels. So that's on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Let us know some of the ones that have changed your life. Accounts to follow. Please let us know. We're looking to make use of each and every one of those. And a simple life hack for you is to find all of our links in our bio as well as on our website. So you can find direction to every one of our episodes. There's so much content for you to consume and enjoy, and we are really, really thankful for you being a part of the journey. That's it for me for this episode, Ty. Anything else you want to add?
Nah, you got it, boy. You wrapped it all up there nicely for us. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you guys same time, same place next week. There's a special episode coming up next week. Be on the lookout for that one, and we'll see you all there.